What's up, guys? I'm Chris, and today you're watching a magic review on the coaster by TCC and Terry. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't, please consider subscribing, like the video, and don't forget to join the Chris Edwards Magic Secret Access group over on Facebook. All right, so today we're looking at the coaster by TCC and Terry. So what is the coaster? Basically, this is a coin through object to glass, or it's a penetration effect. So the coin one by one goes through the coaster into the glass. Pretty straightforward. Anyway, first I'm going to go over some of the things that you're going to need, because you cannot perform this directly out of the box if you don't have a special something. Now, a lot of you probably do, especially if you're coin workers. I'm not going to flat out say what it is just because exposure, but I will kind of make a note of what it is, and it is mentioned in the description before you purchase. So what you're going to get, we'll go over that. You will get the coaster itself. You will get a little velvet carry bag that the coaster goes in. Just stays like that. And then you will get the download link or the tutorial. Now, what are you going to need to perform this? You will need a glass. You will need the coaster, obviously. You will need 3 regular coins, $50, or actually it doesn't have to be $50. It just has to match your gimmicked coin, which I have here. I'm not going to say what that is. By looking at it, it just looks like a regular coin. Acts like a regular coin, handles like a regular coin, but you need it to work with the coaster. Now, for those of you who may not know what this is, if you haven't already guessed it, just think if you have flux, or there's a number of different applications that can be used with a coin like this. You can find out what that coin is on the website. All right, so that's what you get. Let's talk about the quality. So the quality of the coaster is really, really good. It's made out of some type of wood. I know TCC usually uses rosewood or like an ebony wood. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's really nice. The bottom of it is leather, and I believe it is real leather. It smells like real leather, if that matters to you. And then the other side is it's a felt, so like a black art felt, which matches their new sponge mat, which I'm using here. I will do a short review on that, but there's not a whole lot to say about it, so just check that out. It'll be quick. So overall, the quality is really good. It's probably as good as it can be, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Tutorial. So in the beginning, at the intro of this video, I kind of just demoed really quickly what the coaster does. I'm not going to do the full routine because you can see that on the trailer, and I just don't want the review going too long. But you see that it works, and it's very, very easy to do. So in the tutorial, you're going to learn 2 routines. Essentially, they are similar, but you will learn Terry's handling, and then you will learn an alternative handling that is a bit more challenging or difficult. So maybe advanced coin workers will want to use the other routine. And again, this is a utility prop, so you do not have to follow the routine. You may have your own routine, your own vanishes, or your own ideas of what you want to do with this. This will just help you to achieve that a little bit easier. It essentially eliminates a lot of sleight of hand. And the sleight of hand that is involved, if you're using the basic handling, is very simple. Things such as a simple vanish, a click pass. And if you don't need to use a click pass, but if you're doing the 3 coins to cup, then the click pass definitely is a great convincer. Now, with that said, in the tutorial, they go over the handling, but not too in depth on the coin moves. So you're kind of expected to already know some basic coin sleights. So they talk about the click pass, but they don't teach it. Now, you can find this through a number of resources, and if you're a coin worker, you're probably already familiar with it. But overall, the tutorial is shot well. It looks good. The routines themselves, aside from the moves, are taught very well. And it's not an overly long tutorial. It is in English, and I think that's about all I have to say on the tutorial. Difficulty level. So this can be very simple. If you're using the basic handling and you know some basic coin sleights, the coaster basically does all the hard work for you. Or in other terms, it eliminates the hard sleight of hand that you may have to use to achieve a similar effect. Angles. Angles are really good. Basically, everything can be hidden, right? So you're concealing coins. When you're not concealing coins, it's well covered. The only angle issue you would have is if you're performing this on, say, a table and there are people sitting on the floor, which, you know, I do a lot of kid shows, and this isn't something I'm going to perform at kid shows. Like, I think it is very good, but with my kid shows, it's usually fun, colorful props and a lot of interaction, right? So the only reason I mention that is because that is a particular setting where I would be at a table, standing, and kids would be seated on the floor. Now, if you're not performing this at a kids show, then you probably have nothing to worry about, because this also isn't going to be something that you're performing on stage, right? Because it's not big. It's a close-up effect. So I don't think you're ever going to run into that issue where people are below you. So with that said, I don't really feel like there are any angle issues. Setup and reset. There is no setup. As long as you have what you need, then you are good to go. The reset, it's instant, I guess. There are no arts and crafts. Can it be examined? Yeah, I'd say absolutely. 100% this can be examined. They can look at it. It just looks like a very regular basic coaster. You know, even the felt on the bottom, it is a black art type of felt. That is not part of the method. It's just there. But easily explained, right? You have the top of the coaster, which is inlaid, I guess. So, you know, there's a rim around it, which makes sense, right? The cup would sit on there. That way it's not going to move. That does nothing to do with the routine. It just, I think it makes sense for a coaster to be like that. And then the felt on the bottom, it's basically just allows it not to move and slide all over the place. So again, something that you would see in a coaster, right? Some kind of felt or grip like a rubber. So very easily explained if necessary, but I don't think it needs explanation. It just makes sense. Pocket space, and is this a worker? So, you know, if you're carrying it, you can carry it in the pouch, but essentially, yeah, you can throw this in your pocket. It's not too big. It's super thin, right? It doesn't look out of the ordinary at all. And then you're going to want to carry your gimmick coin and 3 coins. I just throw them in a little coin pouch. You could just throw them in your pocket, but it's not taking up a lot of pocket space. If anything, it's just the circumference that would take up more space, but as far as thickness, it's really not very thick at all. So is this a worker? I'd say that this definitely is, and the reason being is that this is extremely practical. Now, it does use a little bit of sleight of hand to do your vanishes or your transpositions or whatever you're doing, right? But when I look at other similar products like this, so one being, I forget the name of it, and I have it. It's another coaster. You've probably seen them. There's a Coca-Cola one, a Heineken one, different brands. But with that one, it's less examinable. It needs to be set up. It needs to be positioned a certain way. So This one, however, the reason I'm saying this is a worker is because this is it. There is no prior setup. There is nothing that you really have to do that would hinder this from any kind of a working situation. So you can carry this around with you and you're ready to go at a moment's notice. So even if you are performing at a restaurant or, table hopping, you can borrow the glass. You would obviously have your coins and your coaster, but it's just a matter of taking it out and using it. And I think it's a very visual and powerful routine, especially the fact that you're using a clear glass and they see the moment that the coin penetrates from your hand to inside the glass through the coaster. So who would use this? A close-up worker, somebody who's doing table hopping. Now, you do need a surface to set the glass on, so you're not going to use this strolling unless you're in an area with a surface of some sort. Or if you're doing a close-up show, I think that this is great. But anybody with some basic coin experience, you're going to be fine with this. It's all very easy. So I think anybody can use this, whether you're just starting out, beginner, magicians, intermediate, advanced. You can just kind of adapt your skill level to the routine that you're doing. What's the price and is it worth your money? So this is $35 and you can just pick this up on TCC's website. I think it's definitely worth the money. It's very well made, high quality props, easy to do, and it's super visual. Looks great, easy to carry around. I think that's a good price for this. And pros and cons. I don't see any negatives here, considering that I think this is the most practical and simplest way to achieve this effect or routine. You do need a special coin to do this, but I feel like if there was another method involved here that didn't use that, there'd either be a lot more sleight of hand, or there would be more setup or angle restrictions, or I just think that this is the best approach. So the fact that you do need an additional something, I can't give that a negative because I think that they've achieved the best possible way of making this happen. Positives, like I said, very, very well made. I think it's a good price. There are a lot of things that you can do with this, right? So essentially it is just a penetration effect, but the way that this works and the ease of use allows you to apply many different variations to make this routine your own. And I said this, 3 times now, but it's extremely practical. And I think with something like this, that's definitely a huge positive. So I think that I've kind of covered everything I can. I'll leave a link in the description below. And with that, we'll see you in the next review.